Your footage looks flat, washed out, like a recording, not a movie. It's not your camera, it's not the sensor. You're missing 3 steps that every cinema camera does automatically. And once you know them, any camera becomes a cinema camera. Step 1 is the reason 90% of digital footage looks digital from the moment you press record. You shot in log, flat, no contrast, no saturation, no color decision. That's the point of log. It's a canvas, not a finished image. But here's what nobody tells you. The way you convert that log footage to something you can actually see determines everything that follows. Most people slap on the camera manufacturer's alerts. The one that came with your camera. It bakes in their idea of saturation, their contrast curve, their color bias. And from that moment forward, you're fighting a grade that was already decided for you. Don't do that. Convert your log to Rec 709 with clean math. 32-bit float, no baked-in manufacturer saturation, no preset color curve. Just a pure neutral conversion that gives you the full canvas. Now your color correction is actually starting from 0, not from someone else's interpretation of your footage. 1 click, 30 seconds. You're 90% faster than you were yesterday. And every grade you do from this point forward will look intentional instead of reactive. Step 2 is where the look actually happens. And it's the step that takes most colorists 4 hours, 3 director revisions, and a lot of second guessing. 1 click, not a LUT, not a preset, but a full grade built from 135 different parameters working together. Contrast response, highlight roll-off, mid-tone compression, color separation, tonal mapping. All of it generated from the footage itself, not pulled from a library. Then adjust. The director wants it warmer? Slide. More contrast? Slide. Softer highlights? Slide. You're not rebuilding from scratch anymore. You're refining something that's already in the ballpark. 4 hours becomes 30 minutes. 3 revisions becomes 1 conversation. Step 3 is the invisible one. The reason professional grades feel 3-dimensional and amateur grades feel flat, even when the colors are technically correct. Film has texture, digital doesn't. That texture comes from 2 things working together, sharpening and grain. Not add grain and call it a day. Real film grain interacts with the sharpening. The grain sits behind the detail, the sharpening pulls the edges forward. Together they create depth. A grade that feels like it has weight behind it, not just color painted on top. This is the step most people skip. They get the colors right, the contrast right, and the grade still looks like a video because it has no texture, no physical presence. Add the texture last, after the correction, after the look. It's the seal that turns a grade into a frame. And here's the twist. These 3 steps, D-Log with clean math, generate the look instead of guessing it. Add texture for depth. They're not secret techniques. Every cinema camera does them in camera. The sensor captures log. The processing pipeline converts it. The color science adds the look. The output has texture. You've been trying to replicate in post what a cinema camera does before the file even hits the card. But you don't need a cinema camera. You just need to do the same 3 steps in the same order. Any camera becomes a cinema camera when you stop fighting the pipeline and start working with it. And if you think your footage is the problem before it even reaches your timeline, that's next, because the real damage happens before you open the software. Free trial, 11.3 fully released on 1st June for After Effects, Premiere Pro, and DaVinci Resolve. Now use code THANKYOU2026 for 45% off before the offer ends. My name is Nash, Passion Fuels Ambition. I shall see you in the next grade.